Hey, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Linda G may be running a few minutes late. We know what a busy lady this wonderful lady is, and she may be just a few minutes. So I just wanted to jump on. I had a few mic issues yesterday. So if anybody can give me a hollers up in chat, if they're hearing any problems with me being jarbled. I was a guest on the Crone Zone yesterday, and I guess my mic was pretty bad. So, as we're waiting for Linda, I think I'm going to go ahead and check to. I sound great. That was what I was worried about. Thank you, Nancy. So, shut off Miss Linda an email, making sure she got the link and everything. I'm just psyched. I mean, even if it's just 15 minutes with this wonderful lady, you know, I'm thrilled. She's kind of like the grandmother of us all for her channels. It was like if it wasn't for her, I know I wouldn't be here, and that's honest truth. Just really quick here. Let's see who's in chat. So, phew, I'm relieved. I don't have to worry about using my phone. Oh my goodness, everybody popping in. Hello. Um, right off the bat, Sherry. Hello, Sherry. Thank you for being here and for the support. Serena, Mama Bear, Viviani. Hello, Lisa. How the hell are you? Oh, I keep looking at the, at the chat. I'm looking at this. Lisa, how are you? I'm doing good. I'm nervous. Sounds good. Hello, Running. Hello, Viviani, Nancy. Oh, so yeah, talk about nerves. Um, Brought Stevie to the party. I enjoyed Kelly's chat so much with Linda yesterday, talking about music that it was like, let's bring some music to the party, and why not the badass of female rock and roll, hanging out with the badass of legendary tarot, Miss Linda G. So I'll hang for a few. And Gina Nolan, hello, welcome. I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. The weather here is still relatively gorgeous. It's going to stop dropping down now into the 30s tonight, but wow, a streak of 60, 70, and one day over the weekend we had 80. So I'm enjoying this nice weather before the lake effect snow and stuff starts kicking in. And Linda, hello, Linda Sandoval. Thank you for being here. Hello, oh, and Septina. This is Septina, everybody, the Tipsy Tea Leaf Oracle. Hello, hello. Um, Ooh, I hope she didn't forget about me. I was listening to actually 80s music while getting ready. And so that's a perfect don't you forget about me. So yeah, if I'm a little really super talkative and can't find link. Okay. So hang on just a second, everybody. I am going to go ahead and send Linda. Now I'm thinking the link is going to be the same on my phone StreamYard as it is my iPad. So let me go ahead and reply, post link. Hopefully it will still be the same, and send that right off. I'm hoping it's the same link. I don't think they would change it. Let me see. We'll give her a few minutes. Yes, thank you all for being here. Hello, Angela. Hello. Just waiting to, Linda couldn't find the link, so this may be just a few minutes. But as usual, like Lisa always says, chat amongst yourselves. Um, and we'll get this party started. Oh, and speaking of, get this party started, Pink came out with a new song the other day. I did not know about it. So very excited about that. So hopefully, I'm just going to go ahead and put the link in the chat, and this is just for me to compare. Um, oh, nope, it's right. 564. Yep. Okay. Never mind. We're all good. So it'll be just a few minutes. Oh, so like I said before, I hope everybody is having a beautiful day. Absolutely gorgeous. Been listening to my 80s music and just, oh, what to ask and what to talk to Linda about. That hasn't really been. Oh, and here we are.
And of course, I couldn't find the link.
Linda G!
I'm so sorry.
Everybody in chat, ignore me for a minute. Oh my God. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
Oh, thank you, Heather. I couldn't find the link and you sent it to me. And then I had the guys, it's lightning out here. And yeah, my guys showed up and they're blowing the thing. So you wouldn't have been able to hear me for a couple of minutes.
Well, I was worried because I had mic issues yesterday when I was a guest on the Crone Zone. So, hey, honey, come here. You got to meet Linda. Sorry.
Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, you guys, you saw I almost missed Amy yesterday too. I was busy. I've been crazy.
I know,
crazy, but I'm feeling better today.
Oh, I didn't know you weren't feeling well yesterday.
Yeah, I was real sick. I've been sick for several days, but I got from the vaccines. But I got all my senates done and my governors done, and then I'm going live with Mel and Andre around 2:30. And then I'm going to do a private video, just a Zoom video with all the information. And I'll probably download Roosevelt real quick.
Okay. Well, I hope I just didn't embarrass you, but really, I had a blast making that thumbnail because really, when, those whole, carbuncle, whatever you want to call it, when the whole shit storm, yeah, I can't even talk straight. I'm so nervous. But when the whole, presidential thing hit, and it was hard dealing with going through that initially. Marie's table popped up and she had mentioned you on a live, and it was just like you got Shannon and I through so much.
Thank you so much.
And over the years, I used to do all the political channels, but it just became so many more and more players started coming on that I had to completely shut myself off from all politics because it was making me sick.
Well, yeah, but you know what? They need somebody they can count on.
Yeah, and there are so many wonderful readers. Okay. But you took charge and you led the whole, so and I had stopped reading for many years because of just that very direct way of this is how you have to read, this is how you have to read. And I think the first video I saw of yours was you were throwing cards with Kirsten Langston.
Oh yes, Kirsten.
Oh, Kirsten. And oh my God, you guys had me on the floor. Just
she's so funny.
And I was just like, wait a minute, this isn't the tarot I was raised with.
Yeah, because her and I both get like that excitement, like, oh my God, oh my God.
And you were having so much fun and laughing. And then, that's why I put on my little thumbnail. She is everything in a cup of tea. Because every time, I would be doing something, a little alert would pop up.
He thinks he's all that in a cup of tea.
Yeah. I was like, hello, she's on. And I would grab my YouTube and, we would all pop on. So, yeah, it's such a pleasure that you're doing this. And, that, I finally got to say thank you,
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
So he must be playing his video game with his headphones on because he's not coming, but he made sure I had my cup of tea.
Who's he?
My Shan. Shan! Get in here.
Is Shan a mate or a husband or?
Shan is my significant other. We just celebrated our 22nd year together a couple of weeks ago back in October.
I don't know what that feels like. I barely can stand myself for 22 years.
Well, it's not like, the relationship hasn't had up and downs. I mean, we've been through a lot. So, but yeah, he's my sweetie. We're in it.
Whereabouts are you located? Where do you live?
I'm actually in Niagara Falls, Western New York.
Okay.
And I actually met Shan when I was living in Arizona in Flagstaff.
Okay.
And we met at a Walmart, working at Walmart. So I got one good thing out of Walmart, and that was my sweetheart. Yeah, he must have his headphones on. I'm sorry. It's like I'm
That's okay.
yelling. I'm
That's
trying
okay.
everybody. But
now, have I read for you in these years that you've known me?
Pardon?
Have I read for you?
No, you haven't. Oh, you did a card pull for me.
Okay.
Over the summer. I can't remember because you have been gracing so many people's channels and supporting them that and then me doing mine on top of mine. It's like sometimes, girl, I can't remember what I had for breakfast that morning.
I know.
It's like the
and I'm still
pre-nano and
doing readings
everything.
every morning. So it's like, but December 31st, I stopped doing paid readings. So that'll be a little bit of a relief.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to miss it?
Probably. I mean, the people are wonderful. It's just that, you know, it really kind of depleted me.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're doing the political, which, my God, the energy alone in itself that you have to kind of tap into to do those readings.
Yeah, but even to read, I read. Oh, it's really starting to ring. I read the deceased. It's because I'm a medium, and it takes some work to do that. You have to really ground yourself and tap in, and it's not easy peasy. But I also don't overthink it. I just open the channel and let them say what they have to say. But gosh, most of the people I meet are fantastic.
Yeah, it takes a lot of detachment and just that energy.
I think
that's spiritual. Yeah.
Once in 8 years of reading, did someone say, you know, I really didn't feel it with you. And that was only one time, which is cool. I mean, it's not because I haven't felt it with certain readers. So
yeah,
I guess I'm lucky that it's only happened, or maybe they were afraid to tell me. I don't know. But
well, you know, I recently had my friend Scott Allen. He does the Akashic readings now. He's tapping into that ability, and he said, you know, he told me, he goes, it was a little bit of a struggle getting a little bit of tapping in with energy, and it just might be different people's energy. I've had that told to me before in the past. Whenever I would have like an early Reiki treatment, or other people would read, they said they feel like there's this really strong protection or
I was going to say protection is what it is. And hold on 1 second. 1 second.
Sure, honey. Let's see. It's not easy being there. Yeah. Quickly saying hello to people. Teresa Levine, Marina. Hello, Marina. Thank you for coming in. Yeah. Shh, I hope I'm not too nervous. But yeah, that's having to balance that energy and being able to replete, you know, that takes a lot. I know, Septina, you know, you do a lot of mediumship work too, and when you tap into those energies, um, you naturally get drained. Just running that with the boy now. Okay, bye, Septina. Thank you for coming, sweetheart. Hi, Janet. Thank you for coming in. Right, taking care of the fur babies.
No, the guys are still. Can you hear that?
Oh, I can't hear anything. Nah, you're good.
Okay, cool. I was looking for my phone, but it's gone.
Uh-oh.
So I'll find it later. I can call it.
And just really quick too, a big thank you for being a nurse in the past. I had two cousins. I have several, well, actually 3 cousins. One who moved to Tuba City, Flagstaff, and does work in Tuba City. But I have 2 cousins, and that is a very hard job. And talk about being depleted and having to be on your feet for those long hours. Whenever I would go into the ER, no matter how long you had to wait and stuff, I would try to be so kind and understanding, because you nurses really worked your asses off. Excuse my language, but that was an unforgiving.
Well, I worked in a county facility, a trauma center.
And so, yeah.
So you went in feet to the ground, and you didn't have time for nothing.
To think. Or even to go to the bathroom. I
Yeah.
mean, I would hear that my cousin say there were times when, they would have to wait an hour so, before, can you cover, because they're running back and forth. And then, of course, when COVID hit, she sent me a picture of how she had to dress. And I'm just like, so a big thank you for a lot of our
Oh,
healthcare
sure.
workers
Now, I
for
definitely
taking care of
wasn't
people.
working in COVID. I think
No,
I
but
retired in 2004.
but it's not an easy job anyway, and I think a lot of people would agree with me in chat. You know, Lisa, Spirit Intuitive, she did EMS, she was EMT, and that was
Oh
a
God,
good job, and it was
that's a
hard.
tough role.
So
At the hospital I worked, when you went past the radio room, it had a sign that says life's a bitch and then you die.
oh my goodness. But that
Patients
was
would
just
be
something.
rolling down looking up at that sign.
Yeah, but that was something I wanted to thank you offhand first too, because a lot of our healthcare workers, don't realize how
Oh, I can't even
understaffed and
imagine the COVID.
underfunded and
I
everything.
can't
Yeah.
imagine how these people survived with the COVID.
Yep. She says she was on an ambulance for years. She totally gets it.
Yeah,
So,
even
what?
in my day, you still had
Sorry, one of
charts.
my fur
Now they have
babies.
computers.
Oh my gosh, yes, everything's scanned, put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also in my day, you had nurses working at the same place 25, 30 years. You don't see that
Mhm.
anymore.
No. So
You're right.
it's a very difficult job, and but I'm just going to go ahead and shoot you off my one question that
Hold
I
on
know
one
probably
second.
could.
One
Oh,
second.
okay. What you? Oh my goodness! It's not Mozzie. It's the other one. Okay, well, look who decided to grace us with her presence. Hello, everybody who hasn't met Ziva yet. Usually it's
Oh,
usually it's my short hair black kitty that comes in and says hi to everybody when I start talking to myself in here. And this one popped in instead. This is my Ziva. Yes, say hi to
oh, look
Linda.
at the precious baby.
Yes. She's 14, aren't you? Yeah. You're getting up there. Okay, go on. Mommy's got a special guest. Um, yeah, I love how your one dog. I had two dogs too.
Yeah.
One was Piper, and the other one, when I adopted her, her name was Lulu. And one day I accidentally said Lilu because Shannon and I loved The Fifth Element, the movie. And she looked up at us and tilted her head, and we're like, "Okay, you're Lilu now." And so they're both in spirit. But when I hear you refer to the Lulu, I'm like, oh, just like my fur baby. So yeah,
Yeah.
I totally get all like giddy and happy and all cutesy when I see the fur baby. So
Yeah, they're doing better. Lulu was really kind of walking with a limp. And the other night, the night before yesterday, when I did all those collabs, she had me up 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
oh,
Kind of
sweetheart.
whining and crying, and she went outside a bunch of times. And so I don't know if she had a little bit of the Mississippi two-step or what, but she's doing
Yeah,
good today.
that's good. Yeah, we all have our moments when we're not feeling so
We love
great. And
these
with
dogs. We love these dogs.
yes, I mean they're like a family now here.
Right,
With the
right.
videos and
Well,
oh
you
my
know where I feel sad?
what.
When there's a natural disaster.
Oh my God, it's
I
heartbreaking when you see
always
the
worry
animals.
about the animals.
I know. It's like people forget that, I hate, I don't want to sound cruel, but I tend to love animals more than I do people. You know what I mean? I mean, I
I
love
can't
people,
watch a
but
movie, even though it's fake, where an animal's hurt.
I know I can't handle anything. Like when I saw that movie Marley and Me, oh my God, I bawled so hard after at the end of that movie. I was like, no, it's fictional. I know, but oh my God, I was crying. So but yeah, for me, my connection really is with animals. And what really touched me was when you shared that story about seeing the spirit of your one fur baby that came to you.
Oh, Moochie. Moochie
Moochie,
came
I wish
straight
my
to me in full form.
yeah, I wish my Lilu would do that in Piper, but I
And
have dreams
I
instead.
said to Lulu, I brought Lulu home. She was just a puppy. And I said, oh, here's Mooch. And then I realized that, wait a second, Moochie's dead.
Yeah.
And Moochie
Wow.
showed up in this house, and Moochie died in another house.
He was letting his mama know that he was still
Yes,
with her.
so.
Yeah.
Right after he died, he was so sick, he got to where he could only crawl,
Yeah.
because he lost his hind legs.
Oh,
And
sweetheart.
so we had to put him down. But right after he died, he came to me in a dream looking young again and fluffy. And I was like,
Oh,
oh my
yeah.
God, Moochie, oh my God. And I could smell him and he was so soft and I was hugging and loving on him. And then I remember seeing a pink collar.
Hmm.
And I thought, why do you have a pink collar? Oh,
That was my
those
Lilu.
eyes.
Yeah, that
I
was the one
thought,
picture
why
I
do
could
you have
find.
a pink collar when you're a boy? And little
Oh,
did I realize I ended up getting Lulu right after that, which was a girl.
oh. So do you think
I
Lulu
think
is
Moochie was
Moochie?
telling me the next one's a girl.
Oh, because I actually had Mark, the animal whisperer, tell me that my Lilu is waiting to come back to me.
Oh,
So when you said that story, I was wondering if that was maybe Moochie letting you know that he was coming back as a girl.
I don't know though, because Lulu's energy is nothing like
You would
that.
know, your mama.
That
Gotcha.
little that was a Lasho Opso poodle.
Oh wow.
Moochie was, and he
Mhm.
was mean. He really want your
It was like
attention.
that
Like
Ziva,
if Heather,
yes.
if you walked in the door, he'd be wagging his tail and sniffing
Hmm.
on you. He'd say, hi, Moochie. And then if you came over like to hug me or you walked by my purse, he would attack your feet.
Yeah.
Vicious. People would jump.
I have a friend who has a cat like that, loves you, and then you go to pet it, meow, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay, it's just like,
The powder guys will compel you.
yes. Um, but like I was gonna say before, I think this is going to probably be my hardest question for you.
What?
But I think you can handle this question, Linda.
Oh.
What is your favorite Gerard Butler movie?
Oh, Jesus. I like Phantom of the Opera.
I thought that would be hard because you'll be like, girl, all those movies, huh?
Phantom
Yeah.
of the Opera, and then there's another one that he plays someone who gets revenge. His wife and daughter were killed.
Oh
But
wow.
there's a nude scene from behind that I like to freeze frame and watch every once in a while.
Just be like, ooh, girl.
Yep, freeze frame. Freeze frame.
For me, I loved him in Tomb Raider, and with the Ugly Truth with Katherine Heigl.
That was good.
That was funny. I love that. But yeah, Tomb Raider was the one that I remembered him the most. And I know how much you love Gerard. That's why I had fun with that one there
300,
also.
he was pretty good too.
I figured out, I thought you would say that movie first because of all the half nakedness,
Yeah,
that
no,
was
no,
in the
no,
movie.
no. I like Phantom of the Opera because it was touching and
Yeah.
it was a romantic opera.
Yeah. I love the original Sarah Brightman, who did the
She
was
had
the
a
lead
voice.
character. Her voice, she still has it too.
Yeah.
She's like, I think she's in her early to mid 60s, and man, that woman can still hit those notes.
I
She's
like that
just
singer
phenomenal.
who was in Phantom, but I think Sarah Brightman was way stronger.
She was the original. Yep.
And
Most
Les
definitely.
Mis, they did a movie on Les Mis,
Yeah.
and they picked this one gal to play a real pertinent part, the daughter, the one that the main character was saving. Her mother had been a prostitute.
Yeah.
And I didn't think her voice was good at all, and it just put a damper on it.
Yeah. It's a lot. It just seems like a lot of now these days. There's just so much. Like, I love how you put a rock T-shirt on too. And I was just talking about this the other day with somebody that back in the day, music was about making music. It was in the moment. They didn't have all these fancy computers where you can have your voice altered and changed and whatnot. And now it's just like it's kind of almost lost its magic, in a lot of
Right.
ways, just getting together. And I think with some of these remakes, it's more of Hollywood, like, well, who can we capitalize on? Doesn't really matter if they can sing or not. And I mean, I almost went to go see Cats, and I heard people telling me don't go see it. And
Why?
because I heard that even the actors, certain actors that said that they couldn't stand watching the movie, that it was really poorly done.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
oh no, the musical I saw as a child when my friend's mom took us up to Toronto
I never
to go
saw it.
see it. and it was just fantastic. And but
when did Cats come out?
oh my goodness, I can't even remember. I think it's been about, I think it was pre-COVID. It's weird. I think in history we're going to have people referring to time periods as pre-COVID, post-COVID for everything now. Um, but yeah, I think it's been out for about 4 years, I think.
Oh, I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah. So yeah.
So, and wasn't it interesting with the COVID how intimate we got? We saw people's homes, how they lived.
Mm-hmm.
It
But
was
at this,
interesting.
but at the same time, I've noticed that people are afraid now to reconnect on a physical level, a personal level.
Yes.
It seems because I take I go to a women's group because I was diagnosed back in 2011 after a suicide attempt that I had borderline personality, I had bipolar, all this different stuff, you know, it's all things I've come to accept and I'm working towards. And groups are such an incredible way of learning skills for coping and for managing, especially now with everything going on in the world. People
Mhm.
don't realize how important and how stigmatized mental health is. And I know you touched
They
base a little
really
bit
need
with
to
this with,
concentrate on that. And somebody who's living in Ireland was telling me her family and her were in Turkey for a while. Do you know there's no homelessness in Turkey?
no, they even have cat shelters for strays. I think I saw
Yeah,
one
and
in
they take
Turkey.
care of their mentally ill.
Yeah, and here there's
Well,
such
we
an
used
awful
to until
stigma too.
Reagan came in office.
You know, well, there's an awful stigma still, and for
So do you like music too?
I do. That's what helps. That's one of my coping skills. With like I was saying, you know, with the groups, I've noticed that people are so used to being on Zoom, they feel more comfortable, more safe being separate. And I'm hoping that in the future that starts to change. And I think it
Right.
will because we're all, you know, but for me, music, oh my God, yeah, was my questions was I was listening to 80s music before you came on. And I know you're talking about the disco with the dancing. Girl, remember, did you ever go roller skating, the disco skating?
No. Was it
You
fun?
did it? Oh
No.
my God. Oh, that was my memories growing up, you know, getting those skates on, Xanadu, Celebration,
Yeah.
Queen, Another One Bites the Dust, all those songs, you hear it, and then it's just like you jump up and you just got to get on that rink. And so when you're Kelly, you're talking about the dancing, I was like, oh, I missed the roller skating. That's what I
Yeah.
would like to do this
No.
weekend.
I don't think we had a rink near where I lived. My favorite song, though, I was thinking because yesterday I was on another show and they were talking about music. And if I was to say, there's a lot of songs I love. My
Mm-hmm.
favorite would be The Verve. You know,
Oh,
what's
yeah, that they did that once. Oh, yeah, because they had the Verve and you had the Verve pipe. So sometimes I get the two bands confused.
it's not
Yeah.
a dance, it's called The Verve, and I think it's Beethoven Symphony or
Oh,
The Verve. They did one of their most famous songs, Bittersweet Symphony.
Yes, Bittersweet Symphony. Oh my God, I love that song. Yes, and he's walking down
It
the.
just I was in Ireland, not Ireland. I was in Scotland with a boyfriend,
Oh,
and
lucky.
he put that song on, and I just kept saying, "What the hell is that song?" And I couldn't stop listening to
Mm-hmm. That's a great song from the 90s.
it.
Or was that 2000s?
I think it was
Girl, I'm going to be
no
52. Wait a
Bittersweet
minute. I think it's
Symphony is from 1997.
97. It was the 90s. Yeah, for me, music was always my support because of my parents separating. I was bullied a lot as a child. So for me, I spent a lot of time in nature, connecting with nature and listening to music.
Yeah.
So get me going on music. Oh my, I can talk and talk and talk about,
Oh, we
you know.
probably could pull out all our old albums. Hey,
Oh,
Kevin.
yeah, I've been noticing. Hello, Kevin. I haven't been saying hi to everybody. I've just been like, oh my God. Joe
Joe
G.
says roller dancing requires incredible skill, and I believe it. I used to
Yeah.
take my daughter roller skating, and we used to roller skate in the backyard, and I could go on my heels and do all kinds of motions.
Mm-hmm.
But those days are gone.
Now, my mother, she had breast cancer twice. And even during her chemo, she would go on the mornings when they would have the adult skate.
And she would go skate.
And she would still skate. Even with the chemo treatments and the cancer, she would not let that get in place of her skating.
How old was she when she got the first bout?
I think she was about 42. I
lost. And then it came back how many years later?
A couple. And it just, it runs really rampant cancer on my mom's side of the family. My aunt Carla, who was the only spirit I have ever seen as a child, well, even as an adult. She passed in 80. They thought she had a cold. They kept telling her, you have a cold. And it turned out she had breast cancer and it went through her whole body. And it was 2 weeks after her funeral. She left behind 4 boys and her husband. But I woke up in the middle of the night, heard someone calling my name. And I opened my eyes, and at the end of the bed, there she was. She was thin. She had this beautiful veil or gown of white all around her. She was youthful. Her hair was short. She was just smiling at me. And I remember closing my eyes and going, Aunt Carla, and I opened them up, and then she was gone. And I ran to my mom and dad's room. I was like 9 years old. I'm like, Mom and Dad, Aunt Carla was just in my room. But yeah, that's been my only apparition I've ever seen. But I did live in the same house. There was a spirit that was evil that lived in the house, and I was tormented on a regular basis. So I think I probably had the ability, like my mom did, but because of the fear and the torment that it did to me, I shut down. And it's been, I think, the last year since I started doing my channel and started reconnecting again with my cards, my crystals, the Reiki, everything that I've been noticing, dreams, things are starting to open up again. So I feel much safer,
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can see them in my mind's eyes, but I haven't had a complete apparition type thing, except when I was 8 years old, I saw Jesus in living color.
That must have been amazing.
It was, but I was scared to death. I wish I wasn't so frightened. If he came now, I'd be asking him all kinds of questions.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure a lot of us would have questions.
But and then I was so frightened of him, Yeah.
Teresa is asking for prayers. I just noticed that. Kidney failure, sister-in-law's son.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, Teresa is wonderful.
I know Teresa. Yeah,
she always gives out the hugs and chat and everything. So,
yeah, Teresa, did you put prayers in for the prayers?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm going to do prayers today. Let me put you on the page.
Yeah.
And add you to this just in cases. Teresa. And we're praying for
her sister-in-law's son.
What's his first name?
Yeah, Teresa, can you put a first name?
Kidney failure. We're going to pray for him, Teresa.
Yeah, she's always giving us so much.
Aquarius with the fifth dimension.
Yeah, it's interesting that people were talking about, they're hearing the music of the fifth dimension a lot, and it's so positive. And Sun Psychic Jean was talking about that the other day on another live channel. And it was like, but if people think about it, their name is the fifth dimension. We are elevating. We're, ascending to connecting more. So I just thought it was so, relevant, and how it was connected, that some of these songs, especially by certain bands or names, are starting to bring forth, and showing, the path that we're all taking.
His name is Troy, so I got it.
Okay.
I'll probably do it later tonight because I got a shows.
And Marina also has pneumonia. Oh my God, that's painful. I had bronchial pneumonia once. I would not wish that on anybody.
Okay, hold on, Marina. I got to put it down.
Yes,
so sure. We're praying for Marina.
Yes, she's from Heart Center Tarot.
Okay.
She does a lot of political readings too. We were talking about.
She has pneumonia.
Yeah. Yeah, her and I were talking about when I met Letitia James, and
you met Letitia James?
I sure did, girl.
What's she like in person?
Well, first of all, we had a women's march scheduled in Buffalo on a Sunday, and the day before is when we had the mass shooting, if you remember.
Yes.
Um, and so we still went ahead with the women's march. We did not, it wasn't canceled. Uh, we even were insistent more on doing it. And she came and she found where the march was. And she came and she gave a talk addressing, gun violence and just violence an issue and trying to bring back, it was nice because she didn't use it as like a strong political um you know platform. It was very human based. It was very emotional. There was like no other real extra agenda attached to it, and I wasn't standing far from where she had been talking. And when she was done, people were going up to her and they were, shaking her hand, and but she would, put their arms around her. She was hugging people, and she walked by me, and I just went to go offer my hand because I didn't, and she could see I was crying. She says, "Oh, baby, come here," and I'm not kidding you. She said that to me. She came, she put her arms around me. You know how some people, when they go to hug it, it's so fake. It's like really light. They hardly touch you, and they go like that.
Yeah.
This woman put her arms around me, Linda, and she held me. And I
Oh, did that
started
make you
crying.
cry more?
And I started crying. She's like, "It's going to be okay, baby. It's going to be okay." And she backed away and she went like this, "Okay." And I said, "Okay." And I later had a picture taken with her. A lot of people know from my channel that I really don't trust a lot of politics. I don't like, politics. I mean, it's too much for me.
Yeah.
But if I can get behind one person who I know
Yeah.
that is the real deal, that actually is who she says she is and is authentic,
Yeah.
and it was this woman. Letitia was just, she's my girl.
Okay.
So I will get behind her 100%. But I thought she was going to just be one of those little light huggers with and she just held me. And you know at that point, color didn't matter. Nothing mattered. She saw a person who was upset, who was crying, and
Offered
you
her.
know and yeah, that was a hard day for a lot of us, because if he had left that supermarket alive, his next stop was going to be the school where my grandnieces and nephews were.
Oh my God.
So yeah, when I see their pictures and people remember the victims, I always say thank you, because even though you lost your lives, you in turn protected and they were only what, like 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. So
Yeah.
so yeah, she's the real deal.
She's the real deal. And I don't blame you guys that can't watch the news because I'm
I
not
can't
watching it.
either.
I haven't turned
Mm-mm.
on MSNBC. I used to watch it faithfully. I
Yeah.
haven't turned it on a long time because this guy was on Mueller Report on YouTube and he was talking about these polls and how they do the polls. And that polls just don't give you nothing.
No.
So he said, don't pay attention. But based on the number of people who have registered and voted, millions are Democrats,
Hmm.
millions and millions of the young ones. So I'm going to stick with that. And, people watch me because of the political thing. So,
Yeah, there are a lot of times
but
when
I
I.
totally understand if you can't handle it, no problem. In fact, tomorrow, you guys, I don't even think I'm going to listen to it or I'll just wait till after it's
Hmm.
over.
For me, what I do is I was it earlier this year around spring. I met another fellow reader. You might have been a guest on her channel. Her name is Maya. She goes by Black Cat Tarot, and
I think yeah.
she does true crime readings. And she invited me on a few times, and I continue doing that on my channel. And I like focusing on people who are missing. That I read several times on missing and or murdered Indigenous women, because they don't get enough attention.
No, they don't.
Women and children from lower economic backgrounds that don't get the kind of media coverage like Pepito did, and others. And so once a week, I try to find a case that's cold, that's, and I
Has
invite a couple.
anything come true with what you've read, or?
See, for me, a lot of it has, for when I first originally started doing them with Maya, she would be in contact with the families that would reach out to her for several of them. And I had found that information that we had given were helpful. Maya and I don't read together anymore, but on my channel, I invite Sharon from Strawberry Rhubarb Tarot,
Yeah,
and also
Sharon.
Sherry H joins me too. Um, and I like having the extra readers because it gives us an idea of, you know, what cards are we getting? Are they similar? And so people have said to me, well, don't you think you're taking advantage of a person's misfortune? And I'm like, no, for me, it's some of these victims, they don't have a voice. And for me, I feel like I'm doing something for the greater good by reading into these, um, trying to find out exactly what happened. And in the event a family member comes across it, and might be able to get something from it, for me, that's worth putting my time and energy into those readings. And we've actually read for a couple of other readers and persons in chat who have had loved ones that they would like to have information on, that have also gone missing or have been murdered. So
People were bugging me about Gabby. And I'm like, who's Gabby? This is not the first time I've heard this.
yeah.
Who's this Gabby? So I took my phone and I looked up Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw her picture and it just came out. Now that I think about it, I wished I had held off because, family could have been watching. But I just said,
Yeah.
oh, she was murdered by her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And her boyfriend will commit suicide.
And he did.
And so, but it just bada bing, bada boom. It was as easy as breathing. And then I also said they would find the murderer of those children in Indiana.
Yeah, and they got him the other day. I saw it. The Liberty and oh, I can't think of the other
Yeah,
girl's
but
name, but
5 years went by and
hmm
people were losing faith. I said, no, they're going to find the
no,
murderer.
they knew, people in town had an idea. They knew who it was, but a lot of people,
Oh,
because of his connections, and people were afraid to speak up. So
oh, he had connections.
from what I understand, there were people, I was just like, I just knew that they were going to get him.
Yeah, and also, I
But those
guess
poor
the
girls.
murder was brutal. That's what they're saying, but I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it was.
they're lovely, light spirits. So is Gabby.
Hmm. Yeah, and
There's,
one could have ran and gotten help, but she didn't want to leave her best friend behind. I
yeah,
mean, that's so for me. I mean, I've had people jump in chat saying, "Well, don't you think you're exploiting, and this is uncalled for?" And it's just like, it's not for me to sit here and to rattle my chains or say, "Oh, look at this is just something for me that I feel like I can give back."
yeah,
And
but
it's important to
long
me.
time ago, I met a psychic, a very good psychic, who's written several books, who said, "Be very careful about reading crimes because the police will be chasing you."
Oh my goodness.
He had
Well,
some bad things with that, but so my intent is not to do crimes, but
hmm
sometimes people will ask, and then bada bing, bada boom, I get it off the top.
yeah, I find
The
it
thing
really
is, there's no
pathetic.
such thing as death, so they're not really dead, if you
Yeah,
know what I mean.
but it helps give loved ones, possibly, or at least give the victim a voice. And one of the questions I want, because I'm seeing we're going out to about 15 minutes. Um, what has your own spiritual gifts taught you about yourself? Things that maybe you didn't know.
To trust.
That's interesting, because that's one of my things that I'm learning how to do, is to trust, because of so much heartbreak and betrayal. But trust.
But trust. Because
Trust.
I always was second guessing. And you readers, if you go in second guessing, you'll never get it right. You got to trust that they're going to give you the right
Mhm.
information.
That's one of the things that I've been kind of going through the last few weeks. And of course, this is autumn. This is the time for me where I'm more spiritually attuned, and I know that I need to start working on things. And so I'm taking more time to kind of just like, okay, just get grounded, have faith in yourself, Know that your guides are around you. St. Michael's my dude, so I know he's there looking over me, and just start learning how to have faith, in your readings. And I've
Faith.
had a
That's the
couple of
word
other,
right there, faith.
and having other couple other readers saying to me, you don't have to read like other people. You don't have to present like other. It just be your authentic self.
So even comparing yourself to other people is not the way. You
Nope.
never compare yourself. You never try to think you're your own unique energy.
And
And they have a plan for you, and you're going with the plan.
And that's something too that I know that I've been working on my whole life, because I'm an artist. I went to school. So a lot of times when I would, try to get into shows and things, I would, or go to show, I would see them like, oh my God, I wish I was that good as an artist, or why can't I? And then a lot of that time I have to stop that chatter and go back in and say, but they're not you. You have your own. And then there
You
are
have your
people
own.
who
You
do
have your own
connect,
thing.
with
And
what,
you can appreciate their thing.
exactly. And I learned.
Because the problem sometimes with ego, in admiration for someone, some people will cut them down. People will cut other people down just because they're envious of whatever their gift is.
Yeah.
But their gift is could be the same, but just on a different level. So yeah, that's interesting.
And I think we all go through that. Even Sherry said her confidence, and when she gets down with her confidence, I say something to her. And when I get down on mine, she says, so it's a beautiful support that we do have,
Yes.
in this community. It really is.
Yeah. And the community is a great community.
Another question I have for you. Where would you like to see the tarot community presence? Not just maybe the presence, but the development of the community, because it's expanding in the next 2 to 3 years.
I'm just it's raining hard again. I'm just going with the flow. They have a plan over there.
Yeah.
And I can't sit here and tell you, oh, I have this vision for the future of tarot, because I don't.
No, just from what you've seen in channels and readers and topics and things.
It's just the beautifulness of lifting others. Help people get out of their own way. Give them a little piece of prophecy, a little something, so they know, hey, that psychic's pretty good because they prophesized this. And that makes people believe in something outside of themselves. Help them get out of their own way, because people get too humanized.
Yeah, what I love is that there's a lot of readers who are now tapping into the people who show up in their chat, their subscribers, and saying that all you really need, you have to find first within yourself, And I love how a lot of those readings are starting to emphasize, and that's what I love to do. It's just like, we're all human. We all go through these emotions.
We'll never get it all done. We'll never get it all right, because we're human.
And that's why we're here. Because if we were perfect, then there'd be no purpose on being here,
Right. And we're all going to make mistakes. And I just think it's great, because all the people that have come out and started their own channels, they all want betterment for everyone else. There's people who, are just starting off, and I can see they're just expanding and becoming they're getting confident, because the people that follow us are just magnificent.
Yep. And they're starting their own channels.
They're wonderful people. And so, and they all most of them want the same thing. They want people to be okay.
Yeah. They want that human connection back, that authenticity, that spiritual human connection that we've lost over the last 5 to 6 years. And I'm seeing even children now that are being born, that I meet, who are older, a little bit older, and their aura, their energy, their wisdom. And it's like, I have faith that,
even this whole Trump train that took place. One day I told everybody, we need to get off the Trump train. You guys, we need to stop focusing in on him. People got mad at me. How could you say that? He's worth, I could never, I'm not asking you to forgive him. I'm just telling you, don't phobic on him anymore, because what it happens is deters your well-being, And that doesn't help him. He doesn't care. He does not care. So take care of us.
It's like saying, you drink the poison yourself,
right?
Instead of investing that type of energy, which he doesn't deserve.
But you got to admit, between the COVID and having that whole thing with people saying horrible things, people, that the insurrection and all this violence,
after that,
it's a shock to this humanity. But my guys have reminded me, and Putin and the Ukraine, my guys have reminded me, we can't panic too much. We've got to step back and know this is as it was supposed to be. And this too shall work out. So just don't dive into the madness.
Yeah, this was all meant to, in my point of view, is that this was meant to happen, as horrible as it was,
as terrible
as it was, because it brought things to the surface.
Right.
And it got light shined on it. And now people can't go back to, well, we want to go back to the way things were before. You can't do that, because we're more enlightened now. We know what's going on in the world. We see what's going on, and we can't turn back. And this is the chance that people can now start focusing on what you want to say hi now to. Okay. Well, here's the other one. This is my Mozzie.
Look at the beautiful eyes.
Yes. So that's my boy. So we just really need to start acknowledging. I live in even though New York is blue, I live in a very red area. Girl, during the summer, and I still see them here and there, there's Giuliani for governor signs.
But he lost.
I know, but there's still signs that say Giuliani for governor. I still have, people driving by with the F Biden flags. I have people around here for, 45, 20, 24, and 20. And it's so hard. And like Scott says, when you see these people, that anger and that sickness and that stuff that I start to feel, I have to turn it into light.
Right.
And I have to just send that light into the universe, because if I keep, it's so hard to do that, though, where every day you're seeing this. But at the same time, I keep reminding myself, but this is just a small portion, you know, and just it's hard to wish people love and light when they're coming from a place of darkness. You know?
God, yeah.
But like I said, it's a lesson for all of us. It really is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're not going to go back to the way things were before.
No, we're growing. We're moving. A lot of people have developed real sense of humanity thanks to all the drama that was going on.
And
but remember to be in grace for what you have always, you guys. I know I used to hate that. What do you say? Thank you.
Yeah, but being grateful.
After I went through cancer, I really was in grace for what I had. Everything. Yeah. Then also always allow in faith that which should come. Because when I read people, like, they'll say, oh my God, Linda, I lost my job. And I'll say, well, what was it about the job you didn't like? Wow, oh God, blah, blah, blah. Well, see, you told universe already you're not happy. So guess what universe is doing? Changing it. Just like with relationships. Sometimes a relationship is supposed to end. It'll change it. And if you go with it instead of laying in it and crying and sobbing, they usually come up with something better.
Yeah.
So Gerard Butler will be at my door any day now, girlfriend.
Well, can't you get your good friend John Travolta to give him a call?
He doesn't even remember me.
I was watching, what I could yesterday with your live with Kelly, and I just love that story that you told, and
about twirling on the dance floor.
So, what's your favorite John Travolta movie? I love Michael.
Michael was my favorite. Real good movie.
Yes.
You know who else? I'd never had a crush on? Sylvester Stallone. But I gotta tell you, one of the better movies he did was called Copland. I don't know if you ever saw it, but boy, he was a good actor in that.
You know who I would love to come knocking on my door someday? Sorry, Shan, but he knows this. Hayden Christensen.
Oh, yes.
He's He's gorgeous.
He's gorgeous. Yeah.
Those eyes and everything. It was just like,
Hey, girl, it's okay to crush. We ain't
yes,
dead.
crush all you want.
Crush all you want. But I do know someone that knows Brad Pitt. But right when I met her was when the COVID was happening, and her
Gotcha.
stepson works with Pitt. So she said, if I ever get him, Linda, if I ever run into him, I'm going to give him your card and say, you must call this girl.
I'm laughing because Warrior Girl said, you're going to have to oil wrestle me for him. Woo! That's cute. But yeah. Sedona, really quick. I used to live in Flagstaff. I miss Sedona. Did you ever get to go to the vortexes? One of them, at least.
Yes.
The one that we would go to is the airport one. I would love.
I don't think I went to the airport.
It was the Butte.
There's an airport in Sedona?
Yep, it's the Butte, the airport Butte, and you would sit on the top, and it was a very subtle energy for me. But I would love seeing it because the planes would go by every now and then. It was a small little, tiny airport, and I just miss sitting there and just being above and watching the clouds moving across the red rocks and feeling that beautiful breeze.
It's gotten real busy and it's a little overpriced.
I've heard that since we've left, it's been about we left in 2008 in Flagstaff. Even back then, it was starting to become kind of commercialized and whatnot. And I heard it's kind of gotten worse since. And of course, unfortunately, we had that guy who did the sweat lodge who didn't know what they were doing.
Oh, that was terrible.
But I remind people that it is a beautiful place. And when I heard you talking about going there, I was like, oh, I wish I could go to Sedona.
I know. And whenever I do it, and I barely mention it, it sells out.
Yeah, because Sedona, I mean, everybody knows how magical Sedona is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think I'm looking at all my notes, and
thank you. Yeah, I've got to be on a live with on StreamYard Live with Andre and Mel.
In about, you said half hour, right?
So I think so. I haven't. Let me look. I hope it's not at 2:00.
Just another really quick question while you're looking.
Yeah.
Now I have a lot of Native friends and family, especially those still in Arizona.
2:30. Yeah. Okay. Good.
And I just wanted your opinion on this. There's no judgment or anything coming from me, because I've had other Native friends tell me how they feel about this. Some, really don't care about it. Some feel that it's an issue. But in the new age, how there's so many books and decks utilizing Native people's beliefs, cultures, spirituality. Do you find or feel anything like it's out of control, or do you feel that there's too much cultural appropriation in?
Well, you got to remember now, my mother was born on the reservation.
That's why I want to ask your
opinion. She had a deep-seated hateness for the Catholic Church and for basically the white man, yet she married a white man.
Yeah.
When she moved to California, she never talked her first language, Spanish, but she spoke it with her sisters in the room. Didn't speak it in the house. Didn't acknowledge on my birth certificate, except that I'm white and she's white. And there was this deep-seated, with all of them, anger and a bit of a hatred.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, my mom was sad. My mom was sad most of her life. When they're taken, she was just a step away from those that her lands were taken, their hair was cut, they're told only speak. And it's really nice that people are uplifting the natives and, kumbaya. But there is a lot of damage.
There is.
And most of my family, Native family back in the day, were alcoholics. It was rampant. My mom was for a while. But, my cousins now, they're beautiful energy forms. So there's a curse to being Native and a plus to being Native.
See, now, for me, I'm having a hard time finding my Native ancestry because it had to be hidden. Okay. And before my aunt passed away, this is going about 10, 15 years ago. She actually found the evidence for the Cherokee in our family. But after she passed away, nobody in the family wanted to know about it. They didn't,
Yeah,
everything got
that's
thrown out.
exactly.
And so I went through Ancestry.com thinking that they could help me. And it came back negative. I'm like, well, no, it can't be negative because my auntie had found something.
But
And
was
then
it in your DNA?
I'm not sure, but I've also found out that Ancestry doesn't have all of the DNAs in
Oh,
their bank
because
or
I'm Comanche and
whatever.
mine showed up.
Did it show? So it's I think it might take a while. It'll have to
If
be,
you
but
could
I
get a
understand it.
name, if you could get any name back in the 1800s, like my great great grandfather's name was Sinoya. And when you look at the Dow, DAWES, you can go online, the Dow's
Okay.
roll.
Yeah.
Look wherever your tribe, what state they came or what tribe you had, and look for that name. And that's how they register you, is from an allotment number. I have an allotment number that began back when they were giving lands and monies to the natives, and they would register them. There's so many people in there just called themselves Indian 1, Indian 2.
Yeah. I remember looking at those while trying to find
Yeah, so if
family.
you can get a name, then you can get an allotment number, because that's the only way they'll register you. That you
I'm
have
trying
to
to
have
figure
a
out how
number.
my auntie did it, but really,
Oh,
she must have really had to dig deep because I was told I may never find out, especially if it was something that was, especially in this area, frowned upon. Well, not in this area alone, but I don't want to keep you any longer.
oh,
But
thank you, girlfriend.
thank you
It
for
was
being here.
wonderful talking to you.
It was such a pleasure to finally meet you. Really, thank you
Thank
again
you,
for the
everyone.
laughs and everything. To get through those hard years. That
Right.
really meant a lot. So
Thank you
alrighty.
so much. Thank you, and it
Thank
was
you.
my pleasure. So you
Yes.
guys hop on over at 2:30.
We'll do. Everybody remember that. Hopping on over. Linda's with Mel and Andre.
Thank you, guys. And then I'm going to do a regular video because I'm going to go through my picks, and then I'm going to do prayers a little later. All right. Bye, you guys.
Okay. Bye.